Afternoon to everyone. I'd like to take the opportunity with immense pleasure to introduce and heartily welcome Mrs. Hepzibah J. Ma'am had completed her UG program from Dr. MGR University, Chennai in the year 2007. And Ma'am has been awarded with the Masters in Pediatric Nursing from College of Nursing, CMC Vellore, and currently pursuing PhD under National Consortium, INC. Ma'am started her career as a staff nurse in the Department of Pediatrics, CMC Vellore, followed by lecturer, assistant professor, and currently in the capacity as assistant professor in the College of Nursing, All India Institute of Medical Science, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India. Ma'am has extensive clinical research and educational background in the field of child health nursing. Ma'am's special interest lies in neonatal pediatric care as well as in the nursing education technology. Ma'am is a life member of various professional organizations such as Trained Nurses Association of India, Christian Medical Association of India, NRSI, Pediatric Nurses Alumni Association, CMC, Vellore. Ma'am also completed Masters in Sociology from Madurai Kamaraj University and PG Diploma in Hospital Administration from Alagappa University. Ma'am also a recipient of various awards in her UG. Hospital Service Appreciation Award in the year 2005 by Indian Red Cross and Youth Red Cross. Appreciation Award for Healthcare Awareness in the year 2004 by Vellore RS Medical College. Best Student Nurse Award in the year 2007 by Meenakshi College of Nursing, Chennai. Best PG Student in the Academics Award in the year 2012 by CMC Vellore. Best Pediatric Clinical Nursing Award in the year 2012 by CMC Vellore. Best Young Researcher Award in the year 2007 to add to her credentials. Ma'am has been awarded with these many awards which literally inspires us with glowing mind. Moreover, Ma'am has been published various research papers in national and international journals. She has participated as a member and the resource person and presented scientific papers in various workshops. In the journey of life, we meet people who make us feel alive. Just by knowing one such person's intro, almost every one of us are inspired and looking up for the session eagerly. Thank you.
Thank you, Satyajit. Thank you so much for the guest introduction. Over to you, ma'am.
So, good afternoon to everybody. Respected Principal Ma'am, Government College of Nursing, Karnataka, and all the organizing members of this webinar. Hearty welcome for you all, and all the delegates. I also welcome you for this session on occupational stress management among nurses. So, this is the right time to discuss about this topic on management of occupational stress. Why? Because everywhere the pandemic situation made the healthcare professional to be more overstressed than any other profession. So let us move on to the topic. Before discussing on management of stress, we have to know what are all the different causes of stress at the workplace, especially in nursing. So we'll move one by one. So today's session, it covers the definition of stress, various levels of stress, and what are the stages of stress, and occupational stressors in nursing, impact of occupational stress among nurses, and how to manage these stress using certain strategy at workplace or as well as other than workplace. Okay. Now coming to the definition of stress. Excuse me, Uday.
Ma'am?
Actually, the screen is disturbed with like waiting room. If it can be modified, that will be fine.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So profession is something you are, and occupation is something you do. So we know that nursing has been accepted as a profession, and occupation is something you do. It is the universal definition where everybody, whoever work in an institute, they are doing their own occupation. Coming to the stress, the modern life is full of stress. It is universal, and the occupational stress is well recognized among people, and that too coming to healthcare workers, it is very well recognized. So among the healthcare workers, nursing has been identified as an occupation. By its nature, it is subjected to have high degree of stress comparing with any other occupation. So when this stress has come to a picture of either research or intervention, if we see, like during the past few decades, maybe 10, 20, 30 years before, the stress has given importance as well as attention towards the researchers in various fields, not only health field, all the field they were focusing on stress. So coming to the nursing, nurses can easily become disillusionized, cynical, and depressed. And this attitude can be appropriately termed as nurse burnout. So we know that we are dealing with human being and not with machines. So this dealing with man, relationship, communication make the health workers to again go into deep stress. And stress may be termed as a state of psychological, physiological imbalance. So this particular term has to be noted, like there is an imbalance from our physical condition and psychological condition due to some or other reason. So that result into disparity between the situation demand and the individual's ability to meet those demands. So it is not only in the workplace, it is common. It can be in the home, it can be in the college, or it can be in any environment. The demand is high and the ability to meet the demand, if it is low, the person may prone to get stress. And this stress can be both positive as well as negative. So you may wonder, the stress is it positive? Yes, it is positive too. Like when you want to achieve the goal, somehow I should succeed. That is that stress which induce made you to achieve the goal or to work hard for the goal. That is called positive stress. And what is negative stress? Which makes you socially, physically, or and emotionally totally in a distressed state, and it will, if it is affecting your day-to-day activity, then it can be said as like negative stress. So both positive as well as negative stress can affect the people. Now coming to the levels of stress, actually my topic is occupational stress management among nurses. So why I am taking this part, like without discussing this directly, if I jump into the management, it may not be that much fruitful. So we will see the overview of this, what about stress level stages and what is the main cause of stress, especially among nurses, that will help us to manage that stress. Now coming to the levels of stress, there are two levels, eustress as well as distress. So eustress, as we discussed in the previous slide, there is positive stress, which will help a person to achieve the goal. The stress is high enough to motivate a person. Like maybe you have, if you are there in a competition, so you may get some sort of stressful feeling that is motivating you. Somehow I should achieve the goal. Somehow I should run first and get the prize, or whatever it may be. And we know the other level is distress. So from the word itself, we can understand it is something negative, and it will affect the person's mind, body, as well as the spirit. Now we can see the stages of stress, whoever it may be or whatever it may be. When they are prone to stress, they have to pass through these three stages. No one can escape from these three, but there are certain points. If you inculcate or incorporate those strategies with you, you can stop by the yellow alarm itself or green resistant itself. If you couldn't able to manage, then you may go for exhaust stage, which is a highly dangerous stage. Sometimes we may lose an individual too. Okay, so alarm stage, resistant stage, and exhaustion stage. So what comes in alarm stage? So the person, the nurse, experience stressful even, or she may perceive something in the work area as stressful, and she may have some physiological changes in the body, like she may have increased heart rate, respiration, increased air respiration, and hypothermic, and the stimulation of adrenal gland, which produce an adrenal rush. So suppose if the sick, so she may be a little bit, so this is an alarm stage. So in this stage nothing bad happened for the nurse, like she has to appreciate the me to push into stress stage. So that alarm stage, if a person recognize well, they can prepare for the next two stage. So the next stage is resistance stage. So here the person, now they gone through the alarm stage, they recognize the stressor, what induced stress, and now they are trying either positive or negative coping strategy in the work area, and they are trying to overcome it. That is called resistance stage. Even in this stage also, person may get anger, they may get fatigue, they may try to resolve the issue. So they will use the critical thinking, problem solving skills, and they will try to resolve the problem. So this stage, if by this stage, if they control the stressor, they are protected to enter into the exhaustion stage. That is the next stage. So now the next stage is exhaustion stage. So in this exhaustion stage, it is very dangerous. The person, even though he understood the alarm stage and he may use some or to manage the stress, he may failed, or that stressor, even though he has adopted certain strategy, he couldn't able to resolve the issue. So still the stressor is existing in that person. So that person may go for burnout. Okay, so especially occupational stress, what are the different levels of stress and stages of stress. Now we are going to the important point, what are the reason for nurses to get stress. So if you see to the reason, then it is very easy for you to manage. First we can see what is called stressor, the event or the threat or the change which cause stress in an individual is called stressor, and both it can be internal or it can be external. So internal, your own thought, your own mind, your own thinking, all these are called internal stressor. So you have control over it. And external stressor are from the environment, that can be from the patient side or patient's relative side, or it can be from the doctors, it can be from the supervisors, or it can be maybe related with some system in the sense like some resource related in the workplace. So this also can be controlled if it is identified early and if it is rectified. So now you can see what are all the occupational stress are happening for nurses. So we may think like the nurses may have very limited stressor, or sometimes it may be unlimited stressor. So when you put it into classification, nurse from all four directions she may face. So we will discuss one by one all these stressor, and we can discuss how to overcome it. Don't think that all the stressor can be manageable. Manageable in the sense it can be modifiable. Some stressor, even if you could able to try to change, the stressor may not change. But one thing you can do, you can adapt to it and you can change yourself. That we will see into the management part. So hospital focused stressor, job focused stressor, professional stressor, and situational, patient related, work related, personal and demographic related, and organizational stressor. Now let us go one by one. The first one is hospital induced stressor. Okay, so what are all the things from the hospital a nurse can experience? So all these findings which I am presenting here are from the evidence-based literature. It is not something from the textbook or something like. All those stressors are researched as well as it was proven and observed among the nurses in the workplace. So Evanek and Mattison, they identified hospital-focused stressor. So what they have seen as a factor related with hospital, poor hospital protocol policies, or some system is not that make the nurse to go into stressful state. Sometimes if there is no proper leave policy, or there is no patient care, like shifting a patient from one unit to another unit. There should be some procedure, there should be some policies. So when the hospital fail to make these policy procedure, again the one who affected is the nurse. So along with his contribution, there are another 5 stressor from the hospital. It can be human resource development, politics, working condition, rewards and communication. When if all this, when it goes in negative angle, it will induce stress for the nurses. So human resource development, it means nurse shortage is there, but the patient ratio is very high. In that case, definitely the nurse will suffer. Then politics. So like at the level of managerial, at the level of workers. So in various level, if politics exist, then the nurse cannot work in a good environment, positive environment, as well as working condition. If it is not conducive, again this she will. If there is no reward and if there is no proper communication in the health system, again they will be they have identified and categorized few job focused stressor, which include role conflict, role overload and responsibility for people. So role conflict, who has to do this, whether the nurse should do or the housekeeping staff should do. So there is no clear cut description. Job description is not well framed, or job description is there but they are not following it properly. So that again makes stress. Role overload, so a same nurse have staff and should attend the rounds and do inventory in the ward. So if she is overloaded with lots of responsibility, again she will be pushed into a stressful state. And along with that, at the level of job, other 5 categories of stress the same persons have been identified. They are time pressure. So within the stipulated time, they have to finish n number of procedures. And again, that will lead to role conflict among the colleagues in the workplace. So there may be blame game happen and many responsibility, and the responsibility is not divided, improper delegation among the nurses, and relationship with other nurse. There may be junior nurse, senior nurse, and the junior senior conflict, again supervisor conflict. All this can push the nurse into stressful states. And in addition to that, other 4 stresses like patient care, decision making, taking responsibility, physical labor. Like for example, in ICU sitting, you can see the critically ill patients may require more intervention. So if there is shortage of staff in the workplace, again she has to take care, instead of 1:1, she has to take care of 1:3 patient. All these can induce stress for the nurse, and that is again cause the stress and human suffering. So if the kind-hearted nurse, when giving care for the patient, so when she see the suffering of the patient, that will, and especially those patients from oncology affected with cancer, and it has to be if they are in the end stage of cancer disease, the nurse definitely she will show sympathy and empathy, and she may go into unknown stressor, like without her knowledge she is in stress. And prolonged working hours, sometimes 12 hours in a day as well as night. So it will be very hectic for the nurse to work continuously. Again, that will be inducing stress for the nurse. Again, staffing, improper staffing. Sometimes junior nurse may be given more responsibility of taking critically ill patients, stable patients. So improper staffing and interpersonal relationship, already we have seen all these things can again induce stress. And what are the professional stress are? Let us see. So PR with quotient patients. So we are dealing with human being. So we have to maintain proper communication. We have to maintain good IPR. So when we fail to maintain IPR, proper IPR with all these category of people, again the nurses will be pushed into stressful situation. Okay, then again this is about interpersonal relationship, followed by poor doctor's attitude. So when you see the Western country, the nurses are appreciated like anything, And I have heard in many incidents from my friends who are working in Western countries, especially US, UK, Australia. Nurses are respected well, and they are more or less equally treated with doctors. And our country, if you take the scenario, the attitude of doctors towards nurses, that is something painful. You may experience during your student period, or those nurses who are listening to this presentation, you may experience when you worked as a nursing officer. So when you worked in that environment, because the society made that image, as well as the doctoral community, medical fraternity see the nurses in some other way, in a negative way, that also make nurses to prone for stressful situation and poor attitude among the patient side and patient relatives. You have to see, maybe in some private hospital or some other public hospital, they, for everything they want to be met immediately. Their needs has to be met immediately. They won't have that much patience. They may not yell at the doctor, but they will yell at the nurse. So the attitude from the patient side, patient relative side, and conflict with physician. So yes, but it will be projected towards the nurse, so that also again induce conflict, and that will push the nurse to a stressful situation. Then in addition to those professional stressor, what are the other stressor the nurse may face? Lack of access. So they are very new to the environment. They may be exposed to the environment before, but as a student nurse, now they have been exposed to the work area as a registered nurse. So they might be expected a lot from them. But suppose if the nurse in the student period, she may not got good experience, and she has to practice everything and learn everything in the first 6 months or 1 year period, she may experience severe stress, and that depends upon how the in charge help her to overcome it. And moral and ethical dilemmas, sometimes in terms of taking some decision in patient care, as well as some ethical concern, to take, like, they are not supposed to force anybody to take decision, but they can keep some choices in front of the patient, so let them take the decision. And sometimes adverse effect of the treatment. So when they seek the consequence of the treatment and the adverse effect of it, they may go for the stress. And treatment error, that is medication error, and professional liability. So within their boundary, they have to work, and if they fail to do so, again they will be prone for the stressful situation. And the next stressor which we can see is situational stressor. So we have seen many other stressor. Sometimes few stressor may overlap, because it may be, that's what, all these stressors are interrelated with each other. One stressor, if it is not like treated or managed, that will induce to the another stressor. That's what, when there is poor manpower, the workload will be high. When workload is high, the nurse will land with stress. So when nurse work with stress, again she cannot give a quality nursing care for the patient. Then what all the other situational stress are, like poor staffing pattern, working with high percentage of inexperienced personnel. So sometimes you may be the senior nurse and there is 2-3 junior nurse. So they may say very simple, I don't know how to start the IV cannulation, or I don't know how to do the suctioning. So all these are life-saving procedure. We cannot escape from that situation. So she has to take care to the junior staff's patient also. So again, that's you. Sometimes they may tell, sometimes they may go to the level of court. In this particular ward, this particular nurse has not taken care of my relative. So, action towards the nurse. So that is again pressure and stress for the nurse. Make the nurse to counsel the family of a dying patient in the ICU. Definitely the nurse will pass through the stressful situation. In addition to like congested ward, busy ward, noisy ICU, that's our manpower shortage. All these are situation stressor. So what are all those patient related stressor? Dealing with death and dying. Of like critical intensive care units like ICU thing. So in the emergency ward, you can see many RTA patients who are for life. So in this situation, the nurse who works definitely she may be land up with more workload to manage such patient. That also can land up patient treatment. So sometimes doctors availability may not be there on time, and she has to patient, and there is no particular direction from the resources are not there. So one or other uncertainty way and workload, already we have seen workload, sexual harassment and conflict. So this existed, but the thing nowadays, the nurses are coming forward to tell related with sexual harassment at workplace, and many nurses, they are not coming out. So like I have heard an incident like a patient beaten the nurse. So you know what patient they have written, the patient is a psychiatric patient. You know, as per the Indian law, if the person is not psychologically good or no good like crime they commit, they can be rescued from it because they are not having good insight. So this nurse ultimately blamed, and she was like disciplinary, like some action was taken upon her, like the patient was keep called her, but she has not received patient, and this situation came ulta against the nurse. So that is one place. So that is another way of harassing and sucking properly, or the communication may be at the workplace. So that's about patient related stress. Are now personal or demographic stress, job stress experienced among 25 to 29 years of age. So then they may be fresher, they may be taking some family responsibility in that period, or some other reason, like they are, this particular age group is more stressed. And the study shows the lowest rate of job stress among those nurses who is above 35. That may be due to they have experienced well to the situation. So now they become used to that situation, used to that routine. So they can adapt much more better comparing with the fresher or less experienced staff. And greater consistency, and those who are well experienced, they may have good consistency in their work, and they have good skill in their work, and all those things will help them to have less stress. That is experienced staff. Now in addition to that, we can see like gender in general, female are the one more frequently getting burnout than male, and moreover female is the gender predominantly seen in the nursing profession. So female gender are high risk and prone for getting occupational stress from the nursing profession. And family obligation. So it is not only they have to look the work, they have to balance their family. So that is also another big burden for them. And that both family stress influence the occupational stress. The occupational stress can influence the family, like vice versa, it is affecting. Then hours of working. So if a nurse work around 6 to 8 hours, they may experience less stress comparing to those nurse who is working more than 8 hours, that is maybe 12-hour shift. Okay, so the nurse who work more than 12 hours, she may land up with chronic fatigue and cognitive anxiety. So they may not focus on their work because of their physical burden. They cannot concentrate in the patient care also. So that is another stressor. Okay, so in addition to the previous two slides of personal stressor, the remaining stressor we can see like personality characteristics, perfectionism. So everywhere if you expect perfectionism, it will not work. Why? Because it is not your own work. Many factors are behind your occupation. There are work factor, patient factor, organization factor. You cannot manage everybody. You cannot satisfy everybody. So you cannot expect 200% perfection in your work. So that is another important thing. And over involvement with patients. So you can give care within the boundary. If you're over involvement in the patient care, again, that is your own personal stress. Then poor self-esteem. If you have very poor self-esteem and expecting more, but there may not be much resources at the workplace. In those situations, again, you will be pushed into the stressful situation. And feeling of inadequacy. I am not competent enough. Such feeling. I am not having good experience to take care of this patient. I may commit mistake if I give this particular intervention. So such feeling of inadequacy also make the nurse to prone for stressful situation. Especially this can be seen among the student nurse and the fresher. Okay, then history of any psychiatric illness in nurses, and emotional demands among them, and increased awareness of own losses, vulnerability, that is their personal own, their own loss, they're compensating or they're projecting at the workplace. Again, they may go into stressful situation. So we have seen many other stressor. Now we can see the organizational stressor. How organization is inducing stress at the workplace for the nurses. Now many situations are there. You can see increased job demands. If you see the private hospital, demand will be very much high. The expectation from the nursing side is very high, but the resources provided to them might be very less. Sometimes in government settings, 70 patients has to be taken care of only one nurse. Okay, so some state hospital, it is happening in India. What I'm telling, I have seen as well as through various studies and through various interview, what I got, that point I'm presenting, like 70:1, 60:1. So the demand is high. So the organization should think about it. How a single nurse can manage 70 patients, 60 patients, or 50 patients? It is so. I'm expecting high quality nursing care. How come it is possible? So that point is very much to be kept in the mind by the organization. And use of sophisticated technologies. Sometimes it is not wrong if the nurse has been exposed to the technology well. New machines may be there in the ICU. If you are giving a good training to the nurses how to operate the equipment for the patient, they are the one perform in a very good way. But if without giving proper training and assistance, expecting them to work with the recent technology, you cannot find any good outcome in them. Then competition among hospitals, that's what corporate hospitals competition, that will again induce stress. So what the poor nurse can do if they have the competition, so that is another thing. And nursing shortage, so there is acute shortage. So for one nurse is for how many thousands of population, it's a big question mark. That is, it is not in the normal ratio. Again, work overload, when nurse shortage is there, overload will it will increase. Don't think only nursing shortage. If the housekeeping staff shortage is there, again the ward attendant shortage is there, ultimately the role will come into nurse's head. Nobody will ask the why housekeeping is not there, staff is not there, or the ward attendant is not there. They will question the nurse why it was not done, and they will not see about the other shortages. So ultimately, the shortage of manpower induce overload among the nurses and lack of task autonomy and feedback. So expecting many things, but they are not giving freedom to work independently. It is not writing some prescription. I'm not talking about writing some prescription. I'm talking about within the boundary, whether the nurse has given good power, freedom to work, whether the feedback from the nurse has been listened or not, that again induce stress if it is not given autonomy as well as listen to the feedback. Then reduced advancement and opportunities, like no opportunity for them to pursue for higher study or updating their knowledge by attending some workshop, conference. So that it is in the hand of the organization, allowing them or permitting them. But if the organization is stopping or not giving an opportunity, definitely they will not be happy to work in that place. And poor remuneration, very less pay. So in the private institute, we can see in India especially, the pay is very, very, very less comparing with all other profession. They will be working for 8 hours, 12 hours, but if you see the pay, it will be there in single digit. Even though many actions has been taken with the help of some professional organization and nurses association, till now it is not come in policy. The minimum salary, it is there in some states, but it has to come all over India, but it is not there. So again, that can cause stress, organizational stress. Then environmental stress. What are all the environmental stress? More paper, pen work. Rather than patient care, recording, full-time recording at the patient's bedside or in the nurse's station. Why? Because the institute may have to go for some inspection or something like that. If they give more provision enough in terms of manpower, material, then that's fine. But limited resources, but expecting more, again induce them for going to stressful situation, understaffing, decreased resources. That's what I said. Too many patients dying at one time. So now the current situation, COVID-19 can be well apt to say too many patients dying at single time. So the healthcare system, anyway, that's a new situation experienced by all the country. We cannot blame, but that also induced stress among the nurses, that I would like to tell. Then organization stresses. So scheduling, conflict, funding issues, all those things are there in the healthcare system, and poor communication and support from the administration, and role conflict, view death as failure, and many things. So the healthcare system, so they don't want to show the mortality rate high, infant mortality rate high. So again, the expectation will goes towards the nursing section. So because of poor nursing care, the death rate is there, or something like that. They may blame, the blame game will be focused towards the nurse. So that will also induce the stress. Then followed by, what are the other interpersonal stress? Are conflict within colleagues, between the nurses there is no unity, and conflict between senior nurse, junior nurse, government nurse, contract nurse, and poor communication among the staff. So improper communication, like the handing over, if it is not done properly, maybe senior nurse may not be happy to give a good handing over. In workplace, don't see junior, senior, contract, government. Just see, we all are nurses. We are here for one reason, giving quality patient care. If this concept is imbibed in the brain of every nurse, this problem may not happen. And lack of supportive, collaborative workplace relationship, that is another thing. And means like the health team members should work together as a team. If it fails, again it will induce stress. Low team morale. Why I should work? Such type of attitude. Why I should do? Why I have to like do this intervention? Such burden to one or two other nurses, and the remaining will enjoy without doing any task. And disagreement about the goals of care. One consultant may say one type of intervention, another may say another type of, between the unit conflict. And patient family dynamics, patient psychological issues, poor relationship with patient's family, patient and patient family. So fight between the nurse and the patient. This happen at the bedside, especially we can see in the government setting. The patient also may not have good attitude toward the nurse, and the nurse also not having patient enough to talk with the patient. Why? Because she may be taking care of 60 patients as a single nurse. So what she can do within that 6 hours? So they may not understand, and this may happen. Then now, so far we have seen what all the different direction the nurse experience stress. Now we will see what is the consequence of it among the nurses. What is the impact of this stress? So we can see physical impact, professional impact, psychological impact, job or work related impact, patient care. So when the nurse experience stress, you can see this many direction, this many angle, the consequence has happened. And many a times nobody bother about this consequence, which can land up with great loss. Loss can happen everywhere in the sense physical loss can happen. You may lose the nurse. Our profession may get affected. Anyway, let us see one by one what all those impact. First, we can see physical impact. So behavioral manifestation, systemic manifestation, psychological manifestation. So I'm not going to go in detail of this. We know what all the symptoms can happen for any person during stressful situation. The same can happen for the nurse, occupational stress. So fatigue, affected sleep pattern, high pulse, BP, then rapid respiration, muscular tension. They will have severe fatigue and body pain because of this tension. Loss of appetite, or overeating, indigestion, constipation or diarrhea, and dry mouth, excessive perspiration, excessive sweating, all those things. In addition to that, other behavioral manifestations like nail biting. Sometimes, if it is a male, they may go for some substance abuse also. Then irritability, impatience, frequent worry and anxiety. Sometimes today they might have completed the shift. Whole night they will not sleep. They will be thinking about the conflict happened between the junior senior, or conflict happened between the doctor and the or with the nurse, or patient's treatment. Tomorrow, I don't know whether I have committed some error or not. Tomorrow, once I see the patient and the ward, then only I will take my good breath. So many things may affect their mind. So these are all the other physical impact happen for the nurses. So in this, that's what alarm stage also this can happen. Resistance stage also it can happen. But you have to see they should not go into exhaustion stage. Now, what are the followed by physical impact? What are the professional impact? So poor staff attitude and behavior. So once you get scolding from the supervisor, you will lose your motivation and commitment. Why I should work? Why I should do wholeheartedly? Such thought may come to your mind. And staff working in like for long hours, and she will be getting very less return, like poor appreciation. That is another problem. And erratic or poor timekeeping. That is another thing. And poor morale as well as lack of engagement. Just doing for namesake, but not doing it properly in a scientific manner, or following the principle, for not following the proper infection control practice, just taking the medicine and just loading without following aseptic technique, and high intention to leave the job. Many nurses, they, because of the impact of stress, I have told many different stressors, they have left the job and they have gone to some other field. They have started new field. They have started their life in new field, some other. So followed by that, absenteeism. They won't come for the job properly. In a week, 3 days they may come, 4 days they may not. All these things because of stressor. Sometimes there may be an in charge or nurse. She will be yelling at her even if she do good. In that case, whenever the senior nurse is there, she may not be interested to join the duty. Such thing also can be there. And high intention to leave the job. So that's what I said in the previous slide. And poor morale and lack of engagement. All these things can happen as the professional impact. So they will not have a good dignity or means perception towards the profession. What is this nursing profession? We are not at all respected. We are not at all mind by the people. Such thought may come to their minds. Organizational impact. What happened to the organization? If the nursing turnover increase, but they may have 500 bed and 500 bed will be full all the time. 24/7 bed will be full. But nurse turnover is increasing. Who will take care of these 500 patients? Organization will affect it. Yes, suppose if it is a private institute, again, their name, their brand, it may get affected. And decrease productivity, decrease organizational commitment. So towards the organization, less commitment will be there. And high disciplinary problem can happen because of this stressor. And poor job satisfaction will be there, burnout. All these are interrelated with each other. Now, coming to the other impact, we have seen physical impact, psychological impact, organizational impact. Now we can see how the stress affecting the patient care. So ultimately, I have told before, like poor quality of care. So sometimes the resources are not there. How we can expect the nurse to give a quality nursing care? That's what I said. 60 patients cared by a single nurse. How the organization or anyone can expect a quality nursing care? Definitely not possible. And then less efficacy of health service delivery. That's what. There is no good proper channel of delivery system in the community or society. Ultimately, it is no use. The patient may not get proper care. Then poor relations with the patients. That's what I said. poor IPR with the patient as well as patient's relative. So all those things can again affect it. Then related to their own work, they won't get job satisfaction. At the end of the day, they will say literally, what is this job? What I did? Instead of enjoying the hour of duty, 6 hours of duty, they will be like overwhelmed with poor satisfaction. Then decreased output or productivity. Anyway, they may be efficient enough, but the productivity or output from them will be very less because there is no support for them, and high incidence of error rate. If they are stressed and they are doing some intervention, sometimes because of the impact like physical, psychological, wrong drug, wrong dose, wrong route, or wrong recording, anything can happen. So high incidence of error rate can be there, and poor decision making. In stressful period, if you take some decision, you have to be very careful. Sometimes it may be ending wrong. Again, you will be pushed into problem. And deterioration in planning and control of work. If you are stressed, you cannot plan properly. Yeah, that's what when we discuss the management, we will see how to overcome all those issues. And poor timekeeping. You might be assigned for 10 patients, and you should prioritize whom you have to give priority. So that's what in stressful situation, you cannot have a proper time planning. So these are all the impact because of stress for the nurses at the workplace. It can happen. Okay. Then other impact we can see like questions ability to provide care, avoiding patients and families. They won't go to the patient side. They will sit in the nurse's station. Sometimes if it is a senior staff, she will tell the junior staff to do. She will give all the direction. Okay, give medication for all my patients. She won't go to the bedside. Sometimes because of conflict with the patient. Sometimes. And disinterest in and concern for the patient. And believe patients complain to be manipulative. Lack of clarity about professional role. Burnout. Feel imposed upon. I am like they are purposefully imposed with these responsibility. They may feel sense of professional loneliness, social distancing. They are not, even though there are 5 nurses working in a single place, may not talk with each other, may not share with each other, may not support each other, may not help with each other. So these things also can happen as a stressor. I'm speaking, as well as because of stress, you may not go and talk with others. That also can happen. So psychological impact, like these are the things. I'm not going to explain everything. It is self-explanatory. Psychologically, they will be very low and they will not have any interest to go further. Okay. So far we have seen what are all the reasons nurses may experience stress and what is the consequence of undergoing or experiencing those stressor. Now we are going to the important point like managing these occupational stressor. So how to manage this? So professional strategy, psychological strategy, organizational strategy, and other work area strategy. So many strategies are there. Now, simple thing I would like to overcome the stress, but the major thing, what is the cause? Look into it. That is the important point to manage stress. If it's the professional cause, just do the root cause analysis, try to overcome it, try to rectify it. If you are not rectifying the issue, time being you can be safe, you can manage. Tomorrow again it will knock at the door in the workplace. So that is very important. Anyway, we'll see one by one. So I think like many student nurses have joined. Professional organizational strategy, it is not in our hand. Okay. So certain only limited aspects it's there in our hand. Managerial level, organizational level, we can't do anything. Maybe if we are a manager, we can do something. Or if in future you may become a manager, nurse manager, or a administrative person, please keep all these strategy. Why? Because under you, many nurses may work. They may go through stressful situation that may not be visible outside. So if you look into these aspects, definitely you can provide a healthy, positive working environment to them. Now coming to the professional strategy. So first one is collaboration, mutual understanding and collaboration. As much as possible, you have a good collaboration with the team members. That is very important. Mutual understanding, open communication. So feel free to talk, feel free to collaborate within your team. That is important. What it will do? Ultimately, it will reduce the job stress. Moreover, it will increase nurses' autonomy, decrease conflict between them. And moreover, the collaborative practice in nursing concept also can be improved. And job satisfaction also can be enhanced. So collaborative practice at workplace, teamwork, that's all. That is a best intervention to manage stress. Then other professional strategies include like job rotation. So job rotation, this is especially for the managers. Anyway, in future you may become manager or you may be in a managerial position now. Job rotation. Sometimes the nurse who is working in that place may not be happy. You can rotate. Sometimes ICU nurses, they will be burdened with those responsibility. After 1 year or 6 months, it can be 1 year, you can shift them to other area and other group of nurses can come to this area. So that will help the nurse not only reducing the stressor, it will inspire nurses to achieve higher way, it will allow us to continue their professional growth, and they will not only that ICU care, they can expand their vision to other category also, other category of care also. Yes, so job rotation is another intervention, can help the nurses to come out of the stress, and it will help to reduce the burnout among the nurses. And the next aspect in the professional strategy is support. Don't think like support is a big intervention, I cannot do, you cannot do. Within the group, in your team, in your shift, just support with each other. There are different supports like co-worker support, social support, organization support. So what is co-worker support? Sometimes if you have completed all your work within like before 6 hours, there may be another nurse struggling with some patient. She may need some support from somebody, but there may not be any other to ready. But if you are free and you have completed your task, you can very well support her to implement her intervention. If you do tomorrow, when you are in a busy out of some critical situation or some busiest situation, so co-worker support is very essential. Then social support. So social support, I can say it's from the managerial position. So ward in charge, nursing supervisor, or maybe I can say like nursing superintendent. So from that side, considering the nurse need, maybe there may be requesting for a leave, or maybe asking some change of shift or something, whatever, to your possible level, to the maximum level, just help them, support them so that they can seeing into it and making some intervention. Like for example, if there is acute shortage of housekeeping staff or maybe ward attendant, please recruit so that nurses will be focusing on their own assigned patient. Unnecessary intervention in non-nursing activity can be avoided. So not only that, then if they want to pursue higher education, they can allow, they can frame a policy, and with that policy, if they fit into it very well, they can be permitted updating knowledge, sending them to attend some webinar or conference or workshop. If ultimately the organization is going to benefit it, they will update their knowledge, skill, and they will give their input to the institute only. So organization support. So it is very important. All these support, definitely it will help the nurse to come out of the stressful situation. Okay. Then the support I have explained. So this is something different, like staff support groups. So this is there in the Western countries, but it's not there in India. And it's not that much practiced. So what is the staff support group? It can be there in every institute, and it can be like formal or informal, and they can mentor newly joined staffs, and that is the rounds called Schwartz round. Okay, so this is a forum where all staff come together regularly to discuss their emotional social aspect of working in healthcare. So there is no restriction, only this nurse can come, they can come, any nurse, any staff, that's what, all staff come together regularly, maybe monthly basis or weekly basis, and they can discuss their issues. So if there is a forum for nurses in each organization to open their issues, that will be a great help for them to reduce their stress. If you couldn't able to do some intervention, rectification, at least listening to their concern itself, it's a great help. Then, so far we have seen various professional strategies. So professional strategy, not only it depends upon the management, it also can be co-worker support. Co-worker in the professional group, nurses can help nurses. Okay. Now coming to the other strategy, psychological strategy. So definitely, in addition to physical impact, psychological impact is also there for the nurses. So it is said like nursing staff are brilliant at coping, and they have the strong belief, yes, I can overcome with this situation. So that strong belief is imbibed in them, whether it is personal issue or professional issue. They are very well able to cope with any stressful situation. So they are called as superhuman philosophy, who no other profession called superhuman. Nursing, only the nurses are called like that. Why? Because whatever stress exists in the working place, they are the one cope very better, very well, and in a better way. But sometimes they may cope in a negative aspect also. So that has to be guided to them. So what are the various coping strategy? Planful problem solving. A patient suddenly became sick at the workplace. So immediately getting panic may not help you. You just be quiet for a while and just plan what to do, what next to do. And if you plan and do, definitely you can, that problem focused intervention, if you can plan very well, you can overcome from that stressor. Then escape avoidance. So you, in the alarm stage, you identified this particular incident can make me to go into stressful situation. Just avoid it. Just avoid it, in the sense it is another way of negative coping only. But sometimes if the patient's need has to be met, don't avoid, you meet. But sometimes unnecessary conflict, if you feel, avoid it. Ultimately it will not go, it is not going to serve anything for you. So escape avoidance. Then accepting responsibility. So sometimes this is another coping strategy. You acknowledge the problem and you yourself taking responsibility and doing some intervention so that you can come out of the stress. Then positive reappraisal. So whatever happened, appraising, like you are evaluating in a positive way the stressful situation. So that can help you to have a professional, personal growth. Tomorrow, the same stressor, if it happens for you, you will be alert, you will be alarmed, and you will, okay, whatever interventions or strategy you have taken, this will be a learning lesson for you next time, especially in terms of patient care. Okay, then confrontive coping. So sometimes, this is the coping. Sometimes nurses have to, no way, they have to confront. They have to confront with the healthy members, sometimes with the managerial people, sometimes with the patient relatives. Yes, so that is another type of coping. Distancing. Suppose if you feel, if I have some if I am here for a while, unnecessary conversation may happen in the nurses station that can induce stress. Just avoid, distance people, space, or any environment. Do your work. You focus to your own work and self-controlling. Self-controlling is another coping strategy, controlling yourself, not expressing your emotion in the stressful situation, either shouting or crying or unnecessary laughing. So control your emotion. Crying in front of the patient is not good. Crying in front of a physician is not good. Crying in front of an in charge is also not good. Anybody is not good. So control your emotion. And yelling, that is another thing. Be quiet. Let the event pass it on. Everything will be resolved. See, having the positive mindset and seeking social support. Don't feel bad for getting support. Whether they're providing or not, that is something different. But seek for informational support as well as emotional support. That will help you a lot. Then, so few stress managing skill I can show under the psychological strategies like meditation, reflection, and listening to music. So don't do all those things in the work area. You cannot listen something music in the work area. So just you in the work area, you may expose to the stressor, and you may be going out after your ward duty. Certain thing in the ward itself you can do, that is called concurrent coping. At the time itself you are coping and resolving the issue. Something called consecutive. Something you cannot do something in the environment itself. Suppose if the stress are still, the thoughts it's there in the mind. In the home, the thought will come. Then that particular senior staff scolded me. That physician scolded me. Or some incident, you couldn't able to complete an intervention before the doctor's rounds happen. And doctor might have scolded, or maybe something might have happened. So the thought is still there in the mind and making you to feel more stress over stress. So at the time, that is called consecutive coping. So here, listening to some music can be there, done in the home, or watching some movie, or like if you have some bitter feeling, just open with to whom if you open, you feel comfort, you just open it. To whom you are okay, maybe your friend, or it may be your senior, or whoever it may be. And interacting with optimistic people. Don't go with some people who further push you into a stressful situation. Again, you will be in a hectic thing. You cannot come out of it. What you did is wrong. Again, they may say many destructive criticism and put you in a negative mood. So don't go there. Don't go to that person. You just think that to whom I can talk, so that they can give a better counseling for me. And they can not only counseling, don't expect any intervention. That person will listen to me. That is important. Okay. Then you can enjoy play. Just divert your mind from that. Keeping a daily journal, just update whatever things happen and how you have done before to overcome this sense of humor. Just keeping the smile, happiness in you, self-confidence, and social support. So these are all the few psychological strategies, and few other stress management. Yeah, here we can like self-limitation, reducing the noise. Then whoever you feel like, that's what I said, whom you feel to speak, your stress can relieve. Please do it. Meditation, just relaxing. Time management, that's planning. Once time has gone, you cannot get it back. Then good sleep, that is very important. If you're not taking good rest, your body cannot repair. Again, it will make into a stressful situation. Healthy diet, so not eating on time, that is another stressor. Again, healthy diet, taking some fruits, then again stress relieving, like a dietary source like chocolates, those things, nuts, all those things you can take. And few lifestyle management to reduce stress I can share, like use leisure time to recharge yourself. Don't be engaged with work. Work will be there, but you have to have your own leisure time for recharge yourself. So you have to exercise regularly, at least a morning walk for 1 hour or evening walk for 1 hour. Just you plan it. You will not, you have to find your own time. You won't get time, but you have to find your own time. Then socialize with people. That is very important. Just interact with people. Don't be isolated. Then maintain healthy diet. That's what I said in the previous slide. Plan regular holidays. That's what. You have to have break. If you're not having break for yourself, ultimately you will be exhausted and you will be burnt out. Then build and maintain support network. That's what. Now WhatsApp has made fantastic pathway for such network. Like you can form a group and you can share your issues, so that by the coping strategy ventilation helps you to get relief in mind. Sometimes like the nurse in the workplace, when she like she may undergone some stressful experience, after sharing with the colleagues, she may feel free. After that she may not have such burden in the brain mind. Okay, then identify the main source of stress. That is very important. Whether it is, I have listed so many stressor. Which stressor induce stress? Just identify the source. Do a root cause analysis and try to anticipate stressful period and plan accordingly. You should expect, if I do this, or maybe within 1 or 2 hours, a stressful situation can happen. That is like something you might have experienced last week or yesterday. So today also it may happen. So just anticipate it and either avoid it or plan according to it. That depends upon the situation. I cannot say this strategy has to be used for this particular stress. Nothing like that. Depending upon the environment and situation and your ability, you have to cope. Okay, then what is assess how effective your current coping strategies.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you. Ma'am, you need to unmute the mic, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Screen
ma'am.
is not visible. Please,
Slide is not visible?
No, ma'am.
please share.
Okay, then again I'll do this screen share.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so the other lifestyle management to reduce stress. So especially to the student nurses, I would like to say a few things. So in the form, in the registration form, in the column provided for query, they have asked like how to prevent like postponement. I think procrastination. So 24 hours given to your hand. So how beautifully you are using it. Are you planning your day? That is very essential. So you leave it 8 to 10 hours for your rest, sleeping, and so the remaining 16 hours are there in your hand. So how you are using the 16 hour, why you are postponing things which is in front of you. Just plan in a day what all the goal you have in your hand. Even it can be like in the student, in the clinical area also it can be applied. We may write many things about time planning, but how far, how practically we are utilizing it, you have to think about it. So plan it every day. Today at this time I will do this particular. So you have to put in a diary or in any book or paper which you have, just plan it and review it. That is very important. We used to plan everything and we may perform completely or partially, or we won't perform anything and we will forget about it. It should not be there. You have to review. Out of this plan, how many I could able to achieve? Just put a tick mark. Done, done, and not done. Put an into mark. So what are all the things which you couldn't able to do? Just ask yourself, why I couldn't able to complete this? What is the cause for incompleteness or partial completeness? Sometimes you may get to the information, you might be there asked together in the social media sometimes, or sometimes you may be talking with your friends for end time. There is no limit. So that because of that your plan has spoiled. You haven't met anything which you have planned. So now you have identified the cause and you replan it. Not intervention, like how you will overcome that issue, because the same issue will knock your door tomorrow also. In that situation, how you are going to intervene? If you are using the social media for 2 hours, just cut short to 1 hour. If you're talking with your friends, like chatting this thing that thing for 2 hours, cut short to 1 hour or half an hour, and you can save the time. And you just determine and commit yourself, I will complete these things today, whatever come in between. Self. It can be hospital related thing or whatever it may. Maybe if you are working in the hospital, suppose if you are a registered nurse, just see 10 patients have been assigned to me. So for the 10 patients, whom I should give priority. Sometimes there will be 2 patients with oxygen. So that patient may require more nursing care, and there may be some stable patients. So just prioritize, plan your, once you get the handing over, just plan. And don't think as you plan everything will go smoothly. Don't expect like that. In between so many interruptions will come. The unplanned activities also will knock at the door at the workplace. But keeping that in the mind, don't skip the planned aspect. Just think and act. Understood? So practically, if you just start doing it, it will use to you. So once if it is used to you, very well you can adapt the environment, and you can alarm, you can identify in the alarm stage of stress, and you can overcome it. You can cope it in a very beautiful way. Okay. Then what are the other thing? Learn to recognize your needs and be assertive in stating them. So assertiveness from the student period itself, you have to encourage, and it has to be improved. Okay, what is assertive? You are voicing yourself not in an authority way for your own rights, in a polite way, in a decent way. So you have to be more assertive at workplace. So people don't think people will be very happy if you are assertive. You may get opposition from all the 4 direction. So, but don't be emotional. Just be in the same assertive way from the beginning to till end, and put your point if it is right. Don't put unnecessary like a wrong thing. Assertiveness itself, putting right thing in a right way. Okay. Sometimes that may help other nurses. Your voice may help other nurses also to come out of the stressful situation. Some interventions may taken by the organization or the administration. Yes, Then, if you feel underworked, then consider additional responsibility to support your colleagues. That's what I told before. If you are very light today, if you have very light assignment, thank God I got very less assignment. Don't keep quiet. You enjoy your assignment. At the same time, you just ask any support do you need to your other colleague, other team members, and support them. Okay. Then few things every nurse should do, like that's what prioritization, sharing your worries, then increased knowledge help to alleviate fear and clear up. Like you have to be increased knowledge means you have to see the resources, which are all the tools and resources available around me, which can help me to overcome this stressful situation. Sometimes if you speak with somebody, you some work related stressor can be modified, so you have to have the knowledge over it. Then don't be too hard on yourself, don't blame yourself. If you realize the mistake, you just try to rectify, but don't to be too hard to yourself. Love yourself. Then worry does not solve anything, that you have to be very careful. Means you have to keep it in your mind. If you are worrying the whole night, if you get some output because of it, please worry. But if your worry will not give any result, why you want to worry unnecessarily? Why you want to spoil your health physically and psychologically? Understood? So worry does not resolve anything. And if possible, try to confront your problem and make the plans to solve them. Okay. Set some realistic goal. That's what I said. You have to write goal in your day to day. Don't write some goal which is not at all possible, high-fi goal. Okay, today what are all the tasks? Goal means nothing. Task. You have to write to do. Every day you have to have a diary. Open your diary. Today is 28/9/2020. What are all the thing I have to do? Just put point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prioritized, and but just keep it near to you and complete it. In the same way at workplace also you can do this. Complete it, and certain things whatever you couldn't able to do, just see the root cause analysis and rectify it. Then exercise, very essential. Your muscle tension, everything will be relieved, and eat healthily so that your body repairing process will be enhanced, and practice relaxation techniques. So your all the muscles will be tensed because of your stress. So if you follow some relaxation techniques, I will in the next slide, I will show some relaxation techniques that so that you can, it will be very easy for you and it is not very difficult to do in your day-to-day life. Have fun with family and friends. That is very important. Okay. Then important last point, it is normal to have setbacks. No one in this world without stress, without problem. Everybody have their own problem, but in different way. My problem may not be similar to your problem. Your problem may not be similar to my problem. But we may use better coping strategy to overcome these setbacks. Okay. Then progressive muscle relaxation. So these things I cannot explain everything in detail. You can if you want to have, you can, to get the detailed information of these intervention, you can go to Google and you can know more about it and you can practice it. But little bit of each thing I can say. Progressive muscle relaxation. Just make your muscle from the foot. Just constrict, relax, constrict, relax. Yes. Then hydrotherapies like taking bath in warm water. There is effect, study says, that has effect in relaxing the body. And hobbies. My hobby may be different from your hobby. I may be comfortable with my own hobbies. So you may have your own hobby. So you please do your own hobby which can help you to come out of the stress. Maybe reading paper or reading some books, spiritual books or novels or listening some music. Your hobby, sometimes planting, you can, sometimes you can do the, sometimes you may have pet in your home. Just engage yourself with the pet, those pets, and garden, watering the garden and just managing the garden. If you have some birds in your home, just spend time with your birds. So these are like different hobbies that you have to make yourself to come out of the stress. Then meditation, so that will also helps in relaxing yourself. Listening to some music, it can be spiritual or it can be any type of music that has to help you to come out of stress. Then biofeedback, that we cannot do in home or in workplace. That's I'm just telling like your mind and your body, so that can be reflected on the screen, and you can able to see the state of yours, how stressed you are can be seen on the screen with the help of another coach or the person who is well trained in that. And after the intervention of some or other relaxation technique, you can see yourself that the stressful stage you have come out of it. Then hypnosis, that is sleep. Then massage, so the like tensed muscle get relaxed so that you may come out of the impact of stress. Then exercise, if you can't go to some gym, no, I'm not telling you should go to gym, just be in your hostel, be in your home, just do those like walking exercise, small simple exercise which can help you to refresh yourself, and deep breathing exercise. So these are all the few relaxation techniques you can follow to manage the stressful situation. Okay, now we have seen some professional strategies and other psychological strategies. Now we will see some organizational strategy. I'm not going to focus much. Why? Because this is very much apt for the administrators. Like we will superficially we will see what all the strategies can help nurses at workplace can which can come out, make out them out of stressful situation. Yes, there should be some stress policy. So that policy should have the like they have to assess the health and safety of health workers, especially all nurses, including doctors. That policy should be there. Counseling, do the institute have some counseling services? Should be there in the policy. And what causes of stress, that has to be identified. Whether any audit has been done to identify stress at workplace, that has to be done. That if you have a written policy including all these things, definitely you can identify many different types of stressor which I have told, so that these stressor, if it has been intervened, the employees suffering from stress can there in all the institute. So encourage staff to attend stress management program, and nurses also should voice out their issues. They should not be like submissive, and they should bring out their concern, and to the till it is listened, let them bring their concern out. You may not get result immediately, but it has to be brought. Then what for we are studying, what for we are being in a profession, we should bring it out, the issues, and we are here to help the society. That's the ultimate goal of nursing profession. So if we are not okay, we are not in a working in a stress-free environment, ultimately we cannot give the 100% output. Then employees may also provide training programs like building resilience. What is the resilience? Stress will be there. Telling this, I'm not focusing stress will not be there. Stress will be there. But how to withstand, the ability to withstand and overcome the stress. The training program has to be organized in the institute, online or offline. Okay. And mindfulness program like removing all the stressor and keeping the mind towards the freeness. And this is also the organizational strategy. Risk assessment should be done. So organizational stress inducing risk, there are various risk factors for stressor, so that also can be identified in different level, at the level of housekeeping, at the level of staffness, level of in charge, level of managers, supervisors. So each level risk assessment should be done. So after doing the risk assessment, if suppose something is there, action to be taken. So depending upon the risk, the intervention, action has to be taken. Okay, so reorganizing the jobs, new policies can be implemented on bullying and harassment of nurses, and good clinical supervision, new shift pattern. So all these are in the hands of managers, so they can do all these things, and managers also can undergo some training, so they also can go for training. They can, that has to be arranged with the organization so that they can do their work in a proper way, like in-house counseling service, independent counseling service. All those things should be there in a hospital, and it is not for the namesake, and it should be functional. So it has, whoever nurses comes for counseling, record reports, all those things should be there. And other few organizational strategies include guidance on how to manage stress in the workplace, counseling the nurses, mentoring the new nurse, and making them to be well competent enough, coaching them, training them, supervising them, and risk assessment, as well as implementation of some policies against violence against nurses, bullying and harassment against nurses, dignity at work. It is very important. We are all in a profession, so we have our own dignity. So sometimes we ourselves may not respect our own colleague, so that is not a good role model or a good example, so that should be avoided. Okay, so to recap, I have come to the end of the session. So we have seen definition of stress, levels of stress, stages of stress, what are all the different occupational stress are happening in existing in nursing, and what is the consequence of these stressor among the nurses we have seen, and how to overcome. We have seen few strategies, especially coping strategy at workplace. So there are variety of coping strategy, problem focused strategy. So how to overcome the whatever strategy help you to come out of that problem, you have to use it. Maybe planning, maybe attending the issue, or maybe like critical thinking, problem solving. All those coping strategies can be used. Sometimes emotional focused strategies are there. So emotional focused strategy, you may have to intervene to cut off these emotions, like anger, tension, worried, all these things. So how it can be managed? Problem solving strategy will end in the hospital itself. Okay, but emotional strategy, it will be managed in the, it can be in the hostel, it can be in the home, sometimes it can be in the hospital also, like you vending, like ventilation with your colleagues, or sometimes in the home diversion, making some diversional, involving yourself in diversional activity, like that. Okay, then so to come end the presentation, I would like to say, if the problem can be resolved, don't worry. Why? Because the problem anyway it will resolve. Then why you are worrying? So don't worry. And if the problem cannot be solved, again, worrying will not help you. Yes. So worrying has to be removed. Recognize the problem. Don't run away from the problem. If you run away today, tomorrow again the problem will knock at your door. So what you will do at the time? So recognize the problem and understand what is the main source of it, and just follow ABC strategy. You are aware, you have to balance it, and you have to control it. Tomorrow it should not come. Then another last thing is few formula: breathing, relaxation, exercise, attitude change, diet, and do away. So change your way of thinking, change your attitude, change your behavior, change your lifestyle, so you can be stress free. Okay, so my sincere thanks and gratitude to the organizing members, and my own institute, CMC Vellore. Why? Because I had the experience to be a staff nurse there. So the experience which I got from the institute matters a lot. So I know what all I have experienced stressors. Everywhere it is there. We cannot say no institute will have stressor. it may not be similar to one institute to another institute. So I thank my institute, and I thank the current institute for giving me permission, Principal Ma'am, Dr. Asha Pishetty, for giving me the permission to present this topic to the delegates and all the nurses. So I have made many interviews with nurses as a part of my PhD. My PhD topic is the same. So that helped me a lot to tell about the nurses' stress. So I thank both government, private setting. So I thank them once again. Thank you all.